Oh, are we live on the internets? So I am right now checking to see if we can hear ourselves. Oh, and say I'm saying like right as a dog is going berserk across the street. Okay, yeah, that already did. Yep. Ah, there we are. Yep. Yep. So I mean, we'll see who comes, who doesn't, and we'll just have fun. Yeah. Uh, So I'm curious to see how many people like pop on in for like the first time since we've had a massive jump in subscribers since we last did this. So yeah, Tevin, Spy Family is coming back, and we're actually going to talk. We're going to talk a little bit about that. Scott and I were having a conversation last night regarding the returning anime, and oh boy, it's exciting. It's really exciting. I yeah, I'm though kind of shocked that so many heavy hitters have been dropped in the same season. I don't know if that was deliberate on the parts of all of these different studios, or if that is how things ended up being shuffled about, because some of the catalogs for shows, like when they were supposed to be released and everything, is still somewhat affected by COVID. I think we're kind of like coming out of that, but I think that we can say that there's still some shows that are now getting dropped because of how things had to be reshuffled around. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. And I already see some questions right here. Is Spy Family good from Thomas Rains? Thomas, yes. Spy Family is fantastic. One of the ways that I know it's fantastic is not just because it really is just so enjoyable to like read and to watch and everything like that. But my brother-in-law who hates anime, he actually sat down because I was showing it to my nieces and nephews, and he came on over and like he was ready, just be all like, "What are you doing showing anime to them?" And and then he saw it and he was like, "Oh, that's actually kind of funny." And then he just started busting a gut laughing and just and then he's like, "Dude, Lars, how do I watch this like on my own?" And so I hooked it up for them, and like they made it like a weekly family thing. Bring the family together to watch Spy Family. And I just told my sister that it's coming back, and she's like, "Ooh, family time." No, that's not Anya. That's Debbie and her family. The Native Son. Hey, good to see you here. Is it a comedy series, Thomas? Yes, it is a comedy series. Yeah. Oh, it's so good. I am one okay, I am actually going to try to look that up right now. I don't I don't know if we're gonna get to it this season. I kind of hope that we do. I don't know ho how the pacing is exactly set, but I because I know that we're not gonna get to I know that we're not gonna get to the cruise vacation. We're not gonna get to the vacation arc yet. Is it on Netflix? I think it's on Crunchyroll. I Yeah, Hulu. Yeah, Hulu, you can get it, but you don't get you don't get the dub. I or Hulu's really slow on the dub for it. So, I mean, if you wanna watch it dubbed, then you have to wait. And yeah, I know my voice is staticky. We were testing this out yesterday. My internet's just really, really bad right now, and I haven't been able to figure it out. Yeah. It went down this week and it has not recovered. Yeah, it's bad. So, yeah. Mhm. Yeah, all at the same time, and really it's like anyone's game for who is going to come out on top as like the big end season because we have so many heavy hitters, and we're going to give our opinion on that here in a moment. But Tevin asked, "Have you seen Cyberpunk Edge Runners yet?" I haven't, but Scott has, and I do intend on sitting down and you know, I feel like it's popular for people to like take a dump on Studio Trigger, but like I personally feel like you should never count them out. Yeah, like yeah, they do some weird things sometimes with their shows, but they are a powerhouse. They're so good at just coming up with unique, engaging stories. Like the way that they write characters is brilliant, and then their animation style matches their characters. Hmm. Hmm. Oh my gosh, I would love that. Oh my god. Hmm. Yeah. All right. I I just so I looked it up. We are getting the tennis arc this season, unless unless for some inexplicable reason they decide to skip it. Yeah, it's within the block of about because they adapted roughly 18 chapters for for the 12 episodes. So for the core, it's probably going to be something similar to that. It's like another 18 to 19 chapters, and that puts the tennis arc like square in the middle of the season. So yeah, it works so well. Yeah, oh, it's gonna be so good. Let's see here. Before we jump on into like actually hitting all these anime, otherwise we're just going to be here for hours, just gushing about Spy Family because it's that good. Let's see. Let's see here. Again, Thomas asked us a question: have we seen Helsing Ultimate? No, I have watched Hell. I said, yeah, yeah. I was just waiting for it because I thought you were saying something. I was saying I have seen Helsing. Um, it was a long time ago. Mhm. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. One of these days we might just have to do have to do an analysis of some of the abridged anime series. But then also we got Alvaro asking if we know about the current Owl House Twitter drama. I asked a little bit about it there in the chat. I'm just going to say this. I think that the Owl House has really been given the short end of the stick, and I'm really sad to see that. I'm surprised that we're getting season 3 as soon as we are. So I'm strapping in for it this upcoming month. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to enjoy it. I have real concerns about how much they can get done with how little time Disney gave them. Disney really screwed Dana and her crew over in so many ways. I am working on a video for I am working on a video to kind of like lead into season 3, looking back at season 2, which was a ton of fun, but I'm rewatching it, and there's definitely some things where again you can see where Disney really screwed them over, and you can see, and like I would say, and like kind of like what I want to do with this, I want to say like, okay, there's like some really good strong writing in the show, especially when it comes to like speed. But there also are some instances where because they were forced to speed up, they really shafted some of the characters. Like Rain, Rain Whispers should have been an absolutely phenomenal character. I know they are a fan favorite for a lot of people, but there's a lot of things that don't work for Rain, and that's because the show did not have the time to properly develop Rain. And that's something that we're never going to get, unfortunately. So that's so yeah. So I intend to get a little bit into that, but that's a future video. And we're caught up there with questions. So let's dive into anime. Woo! is a list. Yeah. Let's see. Let's see here. I am excited for Mob Psycho season 3. Uh, I love the story of Mob Psycho, and I've been trying to convince my sister, the same sister whose family watches Spy Family, uh, now once a week. I've been trying to convince her to watch Mob Psycho because I know that she's going to really like the character of Mob because because the way that his character is, it's basically the adventures of an autistic child, is really what it is. Like, yeah, we have all these like crazy Esper shenanigans and crazy adventures, crazy villains, hilarious heroes, and the likes. But it's an emotional roller coaster ride of a child who doesn't fit in, trying to fit in. And she's raised multiple children who have autism, and that's something that's like it's like this is the anime for you as a parent. Like which I know is weird to say, but man, I'm expecting big things of Mob Psycho, and to ball out my eyes at one point again. Yes. Hmm. Yeah. So Mob Psycho, My Hero Academia. That that is Yeah, if I were still a teacher, I know that I would be seeing so many students right now wearing their My Hero Academia t-shirts and jackets. Like when I was still teaching, so many students came to school dressed up in My Hero gear. And I'll say this, whatever you feel about My Hero Academia, that is probably like one of the unifying forces of nerds and non-nerds. So many people love it. And it's and I love seeing that. I love seeing people just come together over this anime. It doesn't matter what their background is, what they like or dislike. My Hero Academia brings people together, and that's awesome. Hmm. Yeah, and speaking of Bleach, oh boy, Bleach is going to come in like a Category 5 uh tornado or hurricane. Yeah, yeah, though actually funny and epic, as opposed to stating no, since I am full on with the Bleach, fan base, I can tell you this, they have been hyped for a year now, and they've only been going stronger. Like, the Bleach fans are gonna show up for this, and it's gonna be crazy, and I really do like this opening part to the final arc. What I will say this is having read the whole manga, I really, really hope that the anime fixes some things as far as like some of the fights and dialogue go. I'm really hoping that. And if you're not very impressed with some of the opening fights to this arc, don't fret. The cool stuff is coming, And if it ends, and I think I know where they're going to end it, where they're going to end this season of Bleach, because they're not going to cram the whole final arc into like 12 or 24 episodes. No way, no how. This thing is as long as the Arrancar arc, and it is nuts. And I'm pretty certain I know where they're going to end it. They're going to end it at a point where like they're going to have people just like sobbing. Meaning, like even the people who've read the manga are just going to be wrecked if they end it where I think they're going to end it. So it's going to be good. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And thank you, Native Son, for putting that in there. Bleach is confirmed for 4 cores. I am happy to hear that. And that sounds like they're going to keep it tight, which is also really good. That is good because that's definitely one of the things that the original Bleach anime. Yeah, no filler. Though here's the thing, Bleach gets a bad rap for its filler. I, for one, like the Captain Amagai arc. That was very creative on the part of the showrunners. Because, like, well, what are we going to do? Hey, look, here are all these loose threads from the Soul Society arc that Kubo never picks up again. Let's do something with that. um, let's see here. Also on the list, we have To Your Eternity. Oh, yeah. And all the shipping. Yay! Oh, the shippers are going to go nuts with To Your Eternity. Oh, it's gonna be nuts. Oh boy. And speaking of nuts, things that's gonna drive people nuts, Uzaki-chan. I am excited for this because it is fluff. And I know I said this before, and I'm gonna say it again to anyone who says that Uzaki-chan just wants to hang out is an unrealistic story with an unrealistic character. No, it is not. I watched Uzaki-chan in real life happen to a guy that I knew in college. And in fact, I kid you not, just this morning, a friend of mine sent me some pictures from that year where all of that went down. And I saw him again, and I'm just all like, and I remembered that. I was like, man, Chris, you handsome devil, you. And like, sure enough, short little busty girl wanted to hang out with him. So she came and she did everything in her power to to get the relationship going. And it was like the anime. 100%. It's real. It happened. So it is. It is. Did this one get renewed? Wow, it's so bad. I mean, I love the manga. The manga is fantastic. It is hilarious. But how the heck did this cheap anime crap get renewed? I yes. Oh my gosh, they absolutely are. I went back to rewatch a couple of the episodes just to like get my bearings of where the story's about to go again. And I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot just how raunchy this one is. And the next arc that's up, it takes it to a whole new level. Like, oh, and here's the thing. It's also a homage to Goblin Slayer in the best way possible. When I say best, I do mean like Peter Grill style best, where it's just like, oh boy, it's like there's a goblin horde coming. How are we going to beat it? I wonder how. Are there any sexy goblins? Oh, it's so bad. It's so bad. And there's even a Goblin Slayer. Goblin Slayer can't Goblin Slayer guest stars in this arc, and it's hilarious. Yes. No, no, it's someone like Goblin Slayer. And he's just and he's and like he has a whole harem of goblins, and he's like, I've been slaying goblins for many years. So bad. Oh my gosh. It absolutely is. Here's the thing. I don't know if I can fully recommend watching Peter Grill, but I will say this. If you want to watch a harem anime that actually is like, you know what? What if someone actually did have a harem? Like speaking realistically here, Peter Grill is unabashed about like what this would actually be like. Yeah. Yeah. And I apologize. I'm seeing it that my sound is awful. Yes, I know. It's the internet. It's awful. This is why I will never be invited to talk with Critical Drinker or anyone like that. Even though he and I are absolutely on the same wavelength. Totally. I mean, we even go hang out at pubs sometimes. But my internet connection is just too bad. Let's get rid of the bad ones first. We've talked about all this great stuff. Let's bring it down a little bit with some bad stuff and then raise the bar again with the good stuff. Yeah, Haikyuu. It's a death battle. Yeah, yeah. And and here's the thing. I'm going to approach this as someone who likes sports. I enjoy sports, and while I'm not a huge soccer player, having lived in Europe and having spent a lot of time with people who love sports, I was there for one of the World Cup tournaments. Like I have come to appreciate soccer as an American, and soccer is 100% a team sport. I don't care how good of a player you are. If you don't have a good team, you are going to suck. And the thing is that the key to Blue Lock is that in order for the Japanese to win the World Cup, they need to have the best striker in the world. What a load of crap. If you want to see an excellent example of why that doesn't work within a good story, watch Ted Lasso. If you are interested in Blue Lock, don't watch it. Watch Ted Lasso. Better show, better story. Hmm. Yeah. It's It's not good. Uh, Scott, quick question: are you sure that your audio is coming through? Because we got a little message right here. Someone else on stream because they can only hear me apparently. And yeah, and I'm right now playing it, and yeah, I can only hear myself. Okay, so all right, sorry about that, guys. Yeah, this okay. While Scott's trying to figure that out, I'm just gonna say we apologize. We were already trying to fix the bugs yesterday because I was like, hey, my internet's not all that great. Let's see what we can do because the computer that we normally do this from, like I thought it was just having bad internet connections on its own. Something was wrong with it. So I was like, hey, I'm gonna hop on over to the laptop and we were able to communicate and I mean right now we hear each other perfectly. So it's just it's annoying. It's annoying when this happens. So I do apologize. Um so while Scott's getting this figured out, there is something I want to come to. This was a question in the chat from Native Son about Red Hood and are we having a look at any of the new Shonen Jump series that are coming on out? My response to that is that I haven't really been keeping an eye on some of the new stuff coming out, which I
Okay. Can you hear me now? Say something. I don't know. I mean, I'm saying something. You're hearing it. We just got to make sure it gets into the stream. Where does it? Native Son, can you hear me then? Finally, I'm hoping it's not been like that the entire episode. I'm sorry if it has. Oh, that's a headache. Okay. That's not good. Well, you're static. You were staticky yesterday, like when we were not on stream. That's your internet's like provider's fault at that point. So I just wanted to reiterate real quick, just saying Blue Lock very much like a death game. It fails as a sports anime in my opinion. Um, and then another one for that question that we had, The Adventures of Frieren. That's another great manga that's like coming out right now that I would highly recommend. Which I think it is going to get its anime eventually, but it might be not be until later next year, if anything. All right, what's the next anime we want to move to? this one, this one's a rom com train wreck, like at its finest. So, if you've ever seen the anime Love and Lies, this is almost exactly the same thing. They just made the girl character a gal, or a gal character, if you know what those are. Oh man, it's so it's so awkward and cringe. Except you have to live in separate rooms. Yeah. Right? Oh, man, this one, like, and part of our thing is to read at least 5 chapters. I couldn't even get through 2. It was just that bad. And like if you want something that's better, you can go possibly watch Love and Lies. I've never watched all of that one, but it's got the exact same premise. Or you could just go watch Toradora. It's almost got the same exact starting premise with the two getting together, even though they were forced together in this one, getting together to try to get with the other's friend. It's so well done. Watch the good stuff, yeah. Oh man. So I fully agree that it's garbage, but for some reason I can't help but not like the characters. I actually like this one more for like the characters and their interactions than anything. But yeah, I agree. It is kind of garbage. I don't know. It sits in this odd like isekai fantasy, even though it's not an actual isekai. This like odd little genre that pops up a lot in that kind of like fantasy genre in manga, where it's like you've got somebody who was kicked out of the hero's party, and now they have to figure stuff out, and turns out, oh no, they're actually really powerful in their own right and can like get done what they want to get done, and their life suddenly gets all better, which like for some reason I really enjoy that. Right. Right. Yeah. Right. Oh man. Are you gone? Oh crap. Did Can you hear it? That's it? Oh crap. I think I turned you off somehow. Oh man, this sucks. Can you hear yourself now? come off it. What? Sounds like you. Right. Right. Yep. Oh, come off it. I'm not even sure what's going wrong. Okay. Alright. Oh, I don't know what's going on there. Okay, let's get out of that. Yeah, I'm sorry about the technical difficulties. We're just gonna keep going. Lars apparently can hear a little bit of it, but not a lot. Um, yeah, I don't know. It Lars was talking about for a while there how like it's hard to really get into something where like the whole world's built just so the main character can have a harem. And I think a lot of anime make that mistake. Like it really ends up being a difficulty. I still really like these characters for some reason. Like the character designs are super cute. But like they're also like super friendly and like wholesome together. So I don't know. I I just enjoy it. uh, were you able to figure something out, Lars? No. Okay. Well, you just wigged out really badly. Okay. Okay. Hopefully that fixes it. We'll see. Yeah, so Lars is really gonna go MIA. He's gonna reboot the whole system and then come back on here in a minute. So you get to deal with me for a bit. Uh let's see. What else do we have? We've got another isekai called The Eminence in Shadow, which Lars and I both read this one, and we got different things out of it. So it's an interesting one. You've got a main character who gets isekai'd, has this whole chunibyo, like second graders, no, not second, eighth graders syndrome, and like convinces all these other people to create this organization under him to fight whatever's he's coming up with his head. Turns out, oh, all of this stuff he's making up in his head's real. So messes everything up, and he just ends up showing up and does a lot of like action fighting while all of the people under him actually deal with all the details. And so he's still in the dark about everything going on. He's just like, oh wow, I ended up in a lot of fights recently. Okay, whatever. Can you guys hear Lars now? No. Yeah, there's a lag. Uh Okay. Okay. Sounds good. All right. I don't know. The Eminence in Shadow has it's gonna have a lot of great action scenes. It's also gonna have some like good comedy to it. But like if you're tired of isekai already, this is really just gonna take you off. Like it's not really gonna be the one you should watch this season. Uh, let's see. Moving on to the next one after that. Ooh. So I don't know how long any of you listening have been like watching anime, but they're bringing back a really old one. So if you've ever heard of Urusei Yatsura, which just throwing a picture of it up on the screen now, really old one, and it's actually by like the original author for the mangaka, which super surprised me when I first heard about it, but now it doesn't because it fits into the kind of storylines she wrote. It's the same author, like same manga author as Inuyasha and Rama One Half, which freaking Rumiko Takahashi has so many different stories. Like, and this came out like late 80s, early 90s originally. And it's one of those that they're like reanimating and like creating a new anime based around it. So I'm hoping they're able to, I don't know, make it a bit more cohesive because the manga was confusing and we were reading like the original manga. And so it made it was super random like all the time. And I know like part of the point with that one is like all of this crazy stuff has happened to the main character and he has to deal with it. But I'm hoping it's a little bit more cohesive. You get more proper like exposition, more proper explanations as you go into the story, so it's able to build on top of that for further craziness that happens down the line. So I think that'll be a really interesting one to watch at the very least. It's definitely a nostalgia buy, if anything, and they've been doing that for a while now. So you've had oh, let's see, Space Battleship Yamato. They did a remake of the Galaxy Express 999. Let's see what else. I know there's a new Gunbuster coming out sometime in the future, which I'm super excited about. I just want more details about it. I haven't heard much about it in a year or two. But you've got a lot of these old anime that they're like reanimating in that sense, and I'm excited to see some of this older stuff come through. I hope eventually that they do Irresponsible Captain Tyler, because that anime is fantastic. I love that anime so much. Came out in 1993. Beautiful anime. Hilarious too. Let's see. another isekai. It's called Reincarnated as a Sword. This was one Lars and I was talking about, and Lars actually enjoyed this one, especially even though it does have a lolly character, which is a turnoff for some people. Though in Cyberpunk Edgerunner case, like, I can't imagine that anime being any good unless you had Rebecca there. Rebecca made that freaking anime, and she was so perfect. She was such a great character. She's just chaos incarnated, and everything I hear about her, like even after watching the show. And I wish I was high enough level in the video game. I'm not at the moment, but there's a point in the video game I know where you get to just wreck Atom Smasher. And I want that. I want that so badly right now. Alas, I'm only like level 21 and I play video games so slowly that it's going to take me forever to get there. But I want to go wreck Atom Smasher so badly right now. Anyway, yeah, Reincarnated Sword, it fits in that same kind of isekai subgenre that, like, that time I got reincarnated as a slime, or let's see, Overlord. Like, it's the main character is not just directly reincarnated. They're reincarnated as something else, not normal. And this time, main character's this, like, superpower magic sword but can't really use it. Well, he can, like, fly around and, like, telekinetically control himself, but it works out better when he's got somebody. So you've got the other main character, the girl in the picture, that's able to come in and like take control of the sword. Holy crap. So Lars is going to be offline, period, for the rest of this stream. And I found out why just barely. So apparently his neighbor's marijuana habit has melted the fiber cable to his location, and it has completely screwed up his internet connection. So yeah, Lars isn't going to be here for the rest of this stream. So we'll get through it. We'll get through it. Listen to me ramble on and on about anime. I don't know. This one's fun. It's got a lot of really cool fights. The, like, world building's really fun. So I'm looking forward to seeing where this one goes. Like, I hope the animation's good. Let me see who the studio is for that one. Studio for that one, C2C, which they've done a lot of, like, other fantasy-based stuff, so I think they're gonna do a pretty good job. Let's move on to two of my favorite ones coming out this season, because it comes out in, if you don't know what Otome Isekai is, it's like shoujo based, and so you're gonna have, like, a different focus. And I really like Otome Isekai because, like, there's already a plotline moving when the character gets put into the story, and so it's not them creating the plot from the start. And so you've got, I'm the villainess, so I'm taming the final boss. Basically, main character, the girl in the picture, gets kicked out. Well, she's the fiance of the prince. Prince falls in love with somebody else, throws her to the curb. Lars, are you there? Let's see if they can hear you on the stream. Can you hear Lars now? You're a lot clearer. Can you hear Lars now? If anybody's still on. Can you hear Lars now? Still no? Oh, crap. Well, thank you for putting up with us. We'll try to get this fixed by next time at the very least. I'll relay anything Lars says on this ad if he says something interesting. Anyway, so so getting back to it, I'm the villainess, so I'm taming the final boss, and I was explaining that the main character is this girl that was the fiance to the prince and like spent her entire life training to become basically the queen. And Prince falls in love with this other chick. And so she decides, who you find out actually is like has been isekai too. So you've got both the heroine and the villainess, who the main character's the villainess in this regard. Uh they're both isekai and they're using their knowledge to try to like change the story, but the main character ends up going to the final boss and like tries to convince him to like to marry her, which like hilarious. Like I love this story specifically out of Otome Isekai, just because like love the characters. There's a lot of back and forth. There's a lot of like really fun character interaction in this one. I'm not a big fan of like how bright the anime is, because there's a point in the animation when like it's just so bright, like the colors and like everything coming across, it's like gives me a headache. So like the commercials I've seen for it already have given me a bit of that headache. So I may force myself to watch it and just deal with the headache because I like the story, but they need to tone it down a bit, in my opinion. Yeah. So Lars is saying he loves how like honest the main girl is from the get-go. She's very blunt and like straightforward about the way she comes across to the characters, and she like goes to this final boss of like this game world that they're now living in, and Fawn just outright states it like completely bluntly, is like, "Oh, I'm going to marry you. Don't love you at the moment, but I'm going to marry you." And like it's fun to watch them build an actual relationship, like an actual good relationship as the story goes. So, right, right, which Lars is also saying that like it's really cool to see how he reacts to this, because he knows exactly what she's after like from the very start. And so it's interesting to see how he like handles that full on honesty, especially when like him as a character, he's, for most humans, all he's gotten is hate his entire life. And so like this one crazy girl coming in and demanding to marry him, it's a breath of fresh air. It's a little crazy, but it's a breath of fresh air in its own right. So I'm looking forward to this one. And then there's another one that kind of fits in that genre, called Princess Bibliophile, which not really an isekai, but cute story. Like really love this story. They like you end up falling in love with the characters, except for Irene. Freaking Irene can go and die. Um, you end up falling in love with these characters, and like you don't see, like, just going into this, you don't see everything that's going on with it at the very start. And I wish they would show you a bit more in the background. Lars and I were talking about this last night, how like the main character, she does all this great stuff for the country she lives in, but you don't find out about it until after this big reveal partway through the story. And like I would love to see more of that in the anime, like as they build up to that reveal I was talking about. Right. It's better. Lars is saying it's better to see that kind of stuff play out on screen as you go through the story than use flashbacks, because in this kind of situation flashbacks aren't gonna work all that well. So yeah, the prince is a really good guy. I really like him. I like a lot of the characters in it, except for, like I said, Irene. Irene's a bitch. Anyway, let's continue on to the next one. I'm jumping all over this list, but we're almost done. In fact, I think we've only got one more left, which is, I think, gonna be the big one for the big new one anyway for this season, which is, of course, I find the smallest freaking picture. Why? Why does it gotta do this? So if you can't see the picture, it's of Chainsaw Man. The anime that's coming out this season, which I think is gonna be huge, is called Chainsaw Man. Oh, that one's gonna be so good. It depends on your taste in anime. So if you really liked and like was able to deal with all of the gore and whatnot that's in Attack on Titan, I think you would enjoy this. But I love the character in this one. He's so dumb. He's so hilariously dumb. But like, he's this character you can really get behind, because like that first chapter, brilliant storytelling, by the way, like full on goes into detail how terribly he was treated growing up. And like, yeah, he was treated like crap. And he knows what he wants. He just wants some good food and to touch some big old titties. But he gets pulled in this world of fighting against like demons in this regard, which demons are entirely based off of like humans' fears. So it's very similar to Jujutsu Kaisen in that regard. But like, even if Jujutsu Kaisen has a fair amount of gore and whatnot in it, it does not come close to the amount of gore that Chainsaw Man has. Chainsaw Man is kind of super ridiculous about like how much of that there is. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right. So Lars is saying he really likes how unconvoluted like the relationship. If you see the little picture there, you've got the chainsaw demon, and then you've got Denji, and then they end up becoming one basically. And it's very simple. Like you can see the desires of both characters. They get put into one character basically, and then from then on, like, it's them working together. Even though you don't see Pochi all that often from that point, you do feel him. Like he's there inside of Denji the whole time, and it's kind of heartwarming if you can look past all of the gore and everything. But I gotta say, do not, other than like 2 or 3 characters, do not get overly attached to anybody, even though you will get attached to a bunch of those characters, because they will all die. There is really no character permanence in this story. And so like you get attached to this character and they're like, oh, they're dead. And like another one dead. They keep dying all the way up to the very end. Like, and even the main character is not immune to that. Not gonna say too much about that, but he's not immune to that. He gets out of it, but oh man, this story has so many twists. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So Lars is saying that like the tragedy of this, like it really handles the tragedy of each of these different characters really well because you really get to know them and then like build up, and it's foreshadowed, like you know they're gonna die at some point, and like they get killed, and so like it just focuses on that tragedy and it just happens over and over and over again. And according to Lars, it handles it so much better than Game of Thrones ever does with any of its character deaths. I think, yeah, blasphemous, I know, but hey, that's what Lars is saying. Anyway, so I really think this is going to be a big one. This is going to be one that's going to stick around for a while. So it's going to be kind of up there next to like Demon Slayer and Jujutsu Kaisen. It's going to be like in the frame of mind because I've already seen how popular the manga has been. Like I used to work at Barnes and Noble, and people were in there for Chainsaw Man all the time. We couldn't keep that one in the store. So I think this is going to be the big one. And I think we are like out of the list. There's others coming out this season, but these are the ones we wanted to focus on. So any last second questions on the chat for the two people that are on there? Which I'm pretty sure one of them is Lars. Lars says he's here to communicate. So, the native son, if you're still there, do you have any questions? Anything you want to talk to us about? Right? Oh, man. I'm not even sure what happened. Like I cut out. What was I just never there from the start? Huh. Okay. Yeah, I'll have to figure out if there's a better way to link the audio into the stream, which I might see if I can get it to work through Voicemeeter. I might get in touch with Nate and see if we figure that out. Right. Your neighbor. Oh man. Of course. All right. Well, that will be the end of the stream then. We thank everybody for coming and listening, and we promise it'll be better next time, hopefully. Oh, just having issues. Anyway, good night and have a great time. And we are no better live.